Shabbat Shalom from Carmei Gat, Israel. I am excited to present to you my weekly message about Parashat Shavua. This week I won't be able to upload it until after Shabbat because we have a Wi-Fi problem in the area. They're doing so much building, so much construction here that sometimes the Wi-Fi is interrupted temporarily. But hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, you'll have the opportunity to watch this video after Shabbat. This week we're reading Parashat Shofetim. And one of the things I find fascinating about Parashat Shofetim is that on one hand, it speaks about bureaucracy of Israel. It speaks about the judges, the court system, the king, going out to war, how to conduct battle, how to solve a homicide case that is very mysterious. Matters that generally are left for what we consider to be civil authorities or secular authorities. That's really what the parasha speaks about. And yet there is a thread that runs through the entire parasha, and that thread is the thread of Kohanim. Kohanim appear and have a role in every single one of these institutions. How do we see it? Well, when it speaks about the judges in the court system, it mentions that there should be a Kohen on the court. Not just non-Kohanim should be serving on the court, but we should always try to have at least one Kohen on every Jewish court. When there is a high court in Jerusalem, or the main court of Israel, should have a Kohen. And it speaks about the king, and it says that the king has to carry a Sefer Torah. He has to carry a scroll of Torah wherever he goes, a miniature scroll. And where does he get this scroll from? He has to copy it from the scroll that is possessed by the Kohanim. So again, we find that the king has to interact with the Kohanim. And moving on a little bit further in the parasha, we find that when the Jews go out to war, they bring a Kohen, Mashuach Milchama, a Kohen who is specifically appointed to accompany the troops out to battle, to encourage them, to inspire them, to reassure them that God is going to be with them, and so on. This is a special role that the Kohen has at war. And even when we speak about, at the end of the parasha, an unsolved homicide, the Kohanim come to officiate at the ritual that is done in order to make people aware of this unsolved homicide, to try to bring it to some resolution, and also to pray for atonement from Hashem on the spilled blood, the fact that an innocent person was killed. Even though we have not yet been able to identify the killer, we already seek forgiveness from God for the terrible tragedy that occurred. But the fascinating matter here to me, and I'm just summarizing because there are other examples as well in the parasha. As you read the parasha, you should notice that there are Kohanim mentioned in the most peculiar places. Why are Kohanim? Kohanim are supposed to be in the realm of religion. They're supposed to be in the realm of service of God. They're supposed to be in the Beit HaMikdash. Why are the Kohanim playing such a prominent role in civil matters in this way? And I think that the message is a very profound one, that Judaism has a different vision of the role of religion in life than any other system of thought, than any other religion in the world. And that is that religion is not just about what happens in the synagogue. It's not just about what happens in the Beit HaMikdash. It's not just what happens when you pray or when you're engaged in a ritual that seems religious. But actually, Judaism is about bringing the wisdom of Hashem and an awareness of Hashem into everything that we do. And that means that even when we are engaged in judgment that seems to be practical, even when we're trying to solve a homicide, it seems to be practical, even when we're governing a country, as the king does, seems to be a practical matter. In all these cases, we have to recognize that the ultimate purpose of what we're doing is to serve God and to bring honor to God and to come closer to God. Everything else that we do is instrumental to that purpose. And that's the society that the Torah tries to create and the lifestyle that the Torah tries to teach us to live. A life where every component is orchestrated and is integrated with our purpose of serving Hashem. And of course, here in Eretz Israel, it's the ideal location for the establishment of such a society, a place that is filled with holiness. It always strikes me, now that I'm here only about 3 weeks now, but it still strikes me that everybody, no matter what their religious level is, no matter what their job is, no matter what they do, and what my interaction with them is, they say Shabbat Shalom. There's an awareness of sanctity. There's an awareness of Judaism. There's an awareness that permeates the culture of our Jewish identity and our relationship with Hashem. And this is what the Torah intends to promote, an awareness of Hashem that connects with and informs and shapes every action that we take in life. May we all have the zechut to learn Torah and to take its wisdom and apply it to all that we do, so that every action in our lives is elevated and becomes a form of service to Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.